Good afternoon, families. It's coming to you on Thursday afternoon. It is October 8th. It is gorgeous outside, and just wanted to touch base with another vlog message. So we'll start with what's going on this week with our students in first grade. In reading this week, we've been working on some skills and ways to help everybody get better at reading, especially when you get to words that are tricky or difficult. So one of the skills we talked about are stretching out words. So you say a word and you stretch it out kind of like a rubber band. So you take the word sun and you might say s, n. And then I taught everyone in the class how to use their arm kind of like a slide. So you imagine that when you go down a slide, you want to go fast. So if you take a word, s, n, say it fast, sun. Right? That tactile, that physical, that actual touch can really help sometimes kids that are struggling with putting those words together. So that's a great tool and resource. It's just really hard to look at a word in a book and then get to let go of it and use two hands. So it takes a little bit of practice, but it's something that really can help push past that stuck spot of how to say the sounds and then slide them, blend them together. We're going to be moving from that into tomorrow on Friday. We're going to be talking about chunking. It's where you take chunks of words that you know, kind of like rhyming, like ache, and then add beginning sounds. Ache, make, ache, take, that kind of thing. You can take words that you know parts of, chunks of, and it kind of helps break up how you sound out a word when you see, I know that these three letters or these two letters, at or in, always say the same things. So it's just another tools, tricks, and strategies that you can use to say things together. In math, we're going to be working through and finishing up number bonds to 10. So looking at the two number pairs that work together to make the numbers 10, which has been pretty awesome. This week we started writing. And we've been working on writing a story, a single-page story about if we could have any pet, what kind of pet would we want? So today we broke out into small two-person groups and gave each other feedback. It's where you read your story or your work to someone else, and as the other person, you listen and you look at their work, and then you give them feedback. You say something positive about what you see. I like your picture. That was a good detail. And then we're going to be moving into how with feedback you can ask someone or give someone else advice on, you should add an extra detail, or did you like that? Or don't forget to label your pictures. It's a way of helping each other kind of bounce ideas off of each other to kind of have more, just more ideas and just a better sense of how to make good writing, great writing. Things that we're doing well this week, we're doing a lot more staying focused, especially like in our math time, and lots of participation and activity, and I love that. Things that we can still do a little bit better on, that we're improving on. I'm still seeing a few friends not quite get all those assignments done in Seesaw, so if you're not sure what's going on, please send me an email. There's just only so much I can do, but I want to make sure that if someone's having a hard time, that I know about it. I'd rather have our students submit some work that's not perfect or that has mistakes, because then I know, as much as I know it's hard to want to correct your students' work, it's important that I see those mistakes, because that tells me that either the work is too hard or we need to come back around and do some reteaching, usually with the whole group, because if reteaching or going over something is good for someone that's struggling, it's also good to go over for someone that's getting it. Just more practice. Last thing I want to touch on is our independent classroom. So I'm going to be sending home some resources tomorrow about an independent classroom. And what that means is creating an environment where I have expectations about what I want my students to do and how to hold them accountable and how to show and communicate things so students can do work on their own, right? And students' responsibilities would be to learn and follow how to do those things, how to be responsible for my own work, for my own behavior, how to regularly talk and share with my family what I am learning, not just, I don't know. Okay? Also, how to push ourselves to be more independent, how to do things and try first before immediately asking for help. And then there's a third part of this, which are parent responsibilities, family responsibilities. I want to encourage all of our families to take a step back. Take a step back and let your child try. And I'm saying this for two reasons. A, this is how I've always taught. It's how I run my classroom. It's how I work with my daughters here at my house. I want my children and I want my students to be independent, to do things on their own. That doesn't mean we become hands-off and we don't care, but it provides an opportunity for students to be leaders of their own learning, to take charge of I can try, I can advocate for myself, I can ask for help when I need it, I can make a mistake and not worry that it's the end of the world. Those are important things, and they take lots of practice and lots of support. So it's just taking the opportunity to allow a student to struggle. And I know that sounds terrible, but students need to struggle. They need to get to a point where they can make a mistake or know that something is hard and not just collapse. And to get to that spot where they're willing to try new things and take risks and try to learn difficult concepts and ideas, they have to be comfortable with the idea that it's not always going to be easy. I'm not always going to get the right answer. And sometimes I just have to try again. And that is just a lot of encouraging independence and encouraging a lot of communication and being okay with your student maybe submitting some work that's got some mistakes on it. Because if I never see that they're making mistakes, I'm going to assume that your student needs harder work. Which means if you find yourself now doing work and doing a lot of corrections all the time, every day, every assignment, what I'm seeing is your student is rocking on all the work and they need more work or harder work. If I don't see that they're struggling or they need support, you're going to find yourself doing a whole lot of work and it's going to be a whole lot of struggle because your student's not going to be ready for it. And that's where I need to make sure I'm seeing what students are doing at an independent level. So it's a partnership between me and all of you. And I know this is a big ask, but I will tell you this. Think about what you don't want to be doing for your student by June. And then realize it's going to take the entire year to slowly pull back and allow all of our students to just try and be okay with trying and making mistakes and doing it again. It'll be okay. I promise you. I've done this for a very long time, and I guarantee I've never had a parent or a family member come and say, I'm so unhappy at how independent and how in charge of themselves my kiddo has become. I've never had someone say that. So, that said, I'm going to leave you with a super awesome fun fact. When you take a flight, if you've ever been on a plane, you lose up to 30% of your taste buds during a flight because the elevation on the flight has the ability to kind of reduce the sensitivity of your taste buds, which is why, of course, a lot of people love to say, ugh, airline food, when there used to be any airline food, tastes terrible. So if you ever find yourself flying, you might need a little bit of extra pepper and salt. Well, that's our fun fact for the day. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please, please look for our independent materials tomorrow. I'm going to have a poster and kind of just some things for you to look over and take a look at and read, just so we can really start building our students into independent learners, independent thinkers, independent doers who are going to change the world. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so very much.